Hello, this is Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm the author of 6 books about how to make your family happy. And I'm the dad to 6 daughters. I'm also the founder of a little business called happyfamilies.com.au. And I'm partnering with the Boarding Schools Expo to answer your questions about sending your children to boarding school. Today's question: how do you determine whether or not a boarding school aligns with your family's values? This is going to be a really quick video. I'm simply going to ask you a bunch of questions to help you to determine whether or not there is a really good level of alignment with your family's values and what the boarding school is all about. Here we go. First question. Does the school promote the values that are most important for you and your family? You can't answer that question unless you know what your values are. It's actually a really interesting exercise one weekend to sit down as a couple or even as a family and say, what do we matter? What matters to us most? Are we big on academic excellence? Are we big on having a go? Are we big on inclusion and inclusivity and diversity? Are we really big on sport? Do we value determination, courage, never giving up? Do we value leadership? Once you know what your values are, you can then explicitly go to a school and say, here's what we value. Tell us how you satisfy those values. Next, it's important to ask, how does the boarding school discipline their students? Is the boarding school's concept of discipline consistent with mine? You might ask, what forms of anti-bullying practices are in place? How do they deal with bullies? What do they do when bullying comes up? Do they connect with the parents? Do they do restorative circles? Do they sit down and work things through? Do they bring the counselors in? What's their process for bullying? What religion, if any, does the school practice or adhere to? You may be atheistic, have no religious belief at all, and not want your children to have that. There's going to be a values clash if it's a religious school. Or to the contrary, you might be Catholic, but this is a non-denominational school. Or you might be evangelical Christian, or you might have an Islamic preference, and the school teaches something different. This is a really important one when it comes to aligning the school's values with your values. Religion is one of those things that can really get people going. Are there any platforms of support in place for when your child might be struggling physically or mentally or emotionally? What we're really looking for here is, how do you value well-being? How do you respond when a child's having a hard time? And what do you want the school to do around that? What about community, parent engagement, social stuff? Are you the kind of parent who wants to be getting emails, who wants to be showing up at the school once a term when they have Parents' Day or Grandparents' Day? Do you want to be involved? Or do you want to be a hands-off kind of parent who just pays the money, sends their kids to school, and doesn't have anything else? Because schools have different values around parent engagement. Academic values versus sport, issues of inclusion. These are the kinds of conversations that you need to have within your own family so that you can best determine whether or not the boarding school that you're sending your children to is going to align effectively and neatly with your family's values. I hope that's helpful. I'll be back with another Boarding Schools Expo video soon. My name's Dr. Justin Coulson.